Good evening and Assalamu alaikum. I'm your host Dakir Dawood. If you just tuned in, you missed out on a stellar interview with two of South Africa's top journalists previewing the UEFA Champions League final that will be taking place tomorrow evening. But right now, we're going to be moving from the bigger ball to the smaller one. Or let's say we're going to be moving to the mic. We're going to be chatting to an international broadcaster. Yes, you heard me right, Lesego Pooe. Well, she was recently at the Fairbreak Invitational. For those of you that don't know, the Fairbreak Invitational is an ICC sanctioned competition that took place from the 1st till the 15th of May in Dubai in conjunction with Cricket Hong Kong, along with South Africa's international players Shabnam Ismail, Laura Wolfart, Marizanne Kapp, Ayabonga Kaka, and stalwart Mignon du Preez. They were representing us on the pitch, but off the pitch, South Africa was just as well represented. Lesego took the role of being the tournament host and broadcaster. Well, we're not going to keep you deprived. We've got her on the line, and she's going to be telling us all about that tournament and what it meant to her as a broadcaster. Good evening, Lesego. Thanks for joining me.
Good evening, Takira. It's good to be here. And can I say that this is the first time that anyone has ever introduced me as an international broadcaster. So I'm very happy about that. Thank you for having me.
The country's sleeping on you. The world is sleeping on you.
Yeah, but it's
Tell
good.
us a
It's
bit
good.
about the tournament. How was it? I mean, 15 days, you didn't have to struggle with load shedding.
No, not at all.
Amongst wider things, what was the tournament like?
Yeah, sure. I mean, just as I think about it and as I reflect, I will definitely say that it was an amazing opportunity that I wouldn't trade for anything. I think being in Dubai for a good 20 days, having to do what I love, which is cricket broadcasting, and being given the first of its kind opportunity and me being able to get there and do it and rise to the occasion was incredible. But also having to meet different players across the whole world, from players from associate nations to full member nations, I think was an opportunity of a lifetime. So I really did enjoy it. I was stretched. I I've grown so much as a broadcaster, but I loved every single moment of it.
And as a broadcaster, how did this tournament challenge you? Because, you know, you can chat fixtures results any day. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
But this tournament had so many backstories behind it in terms of the players, management staff. How did you manage to juggle research and living up to the spur of the moment as well?
Yeah, and so it was so tricky before the tournament started because there's a whole lot of research that goes into every single player. And you must remember there were 90 players that were drafted for this tournament, and majority of them came from associate nations. And if you go on ESPN Cricket for some of this information of these players aren't even there, and so you rely on conversations that you have with the players beforehand, and also just rely on the games and how they happen in the first couple of days so that you could be able to suss out just the player and what kind of a player they are. And so it was tricky as far as research is concerned before the tournament started. But I think once it starts, you get into the rhythm of the tournament. And there are certain players that you naturally know off the bat, because you've seen them play, right? But I think for me, what was also challenging is the fact that it was a short tournament. It was literally
Mm.
2 weeks of back to back cricket. The only game that was an opening, well, the only one game that we had was the opening match, right? The opening ceremony. It was just one match that took place. But literally after that, there were back to back games. It was literally a double header every single game, every single day for 2 weeks. So you can imagine, literally presenting in one game, you have to switch off, try and switch on for the next game. And so preparation time was very short. You literally had to go to your hotel at after midnight, prepare, wake up in the morning, prepare again, and then go to the stadium and start working. So because Sean, who's the tournament founder, wanted to make sure that he wanted a tournament that was short, sweet, to the point, because he understands that people have lives. You don't want to have a tournament like, let's say, the IPL, for example, that takes a month and a half. So he says that these are women that probably want to go back to their families. Let's rather have a tournament that's short, sweet, to the point. But if you have a
Mm.
tournament of that kind, it means that there's a lot that needs to be done at a very short space of time. So I learned to have to work with pressure. I had to learn to work with that short space of time that's given to us. But overall, it was such an amazing opportunity. That's why I said I was stretched, and I come back a better broadcaster.
Well, you do come back a better broadcaster. And how do you plan on implementing all of those skills under pressure, all of those skills you learned under pressure, back into your broadcast back home? Because you are the host of the Lions cricket show that airs on Supersport.
Yeah, yeah. I think more than anything else, I think it's for me what the tournament has done. It has allowed me to find my rhythm, find the sweet spot. You know, often in cricket we always talk about the ball hitting the sweet spot of the bat, right? As presenters, you need to be able to do that for yourself. Find the sweet spot of your presenting. What are you most
Mm.
comfortable with? What do you enjoy doing? Um, and ride on that wave. So for me, it's just basically coming back home and just knowing that I'm gifted, I'm talented, I can do this, I can work at pressure-filled moments, I can rise to the occasion. Yes, there are moments where you realize that you need to tweak here and there, and build on that. Because, for instance, let me give you an example. So, because it was the first time I did a tournament of that kind, and so as a host, there are moments where you need to read out the starting 11.
Mm.
So, I learned on the job that as a host, obviously the people that are watching can see who the starting 11 is because they have it on screen. So as a host, you don't read out the entire starting 11, but what you do is that you pick out certain players that are standing out from their starting 11 and you talk about them. For instance, if you have a Marizan Cup who's coming in at number 6, you talk about the fact that she's an all-rounder. She can come in and finish the game strong for a T20 match. And so you talk about that significance of that
Mm.
player, maybe from an opener to a middle order to even at the back end with some of the bowlers, whether it's a spin that's coming in or a seam bowler. But you don't mention, oh, we've got Laura Wolfhard who's opening, and then we've got this and this and that. No, audiences can see that. So you don't have to read that out. So for me, I've learned that. So I come back knowing that this is what you do different. And then I just implement it because I've been on the job, I've done it, I know what works and what doesn't work.
Mm, 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 mm. International quality. I don't know when last we've had a great female sports broadcaster. I mean, hey, South Africa,
Yeah.
look out, we've got someone on the scene.
Thank you.
Lesego, going forward, I mean, you've got the awards that you're hosting tomorrow evening, and
Yeah.
there's the show that needs to continue. What are some of your future goals going forward?
Future goals. I mean, it's so interesting that, you know, as a South African cricket broadcaster, I get an opportunity from an international tournament first before getting an opportunity here at home, right? So that's interesting how that has planned out. I'm not
Mm,
complaining. At the end of the day, it's great. That's how my path has unfolded. But I think the number one goal now is to find myself on one of the, you know, South African platforms, broadcasts, where I can be able to do either your international games. If, let's say, you have India that's coming to South Africa, be able to be able to be one of the hosts for any of the series that happen in South Africa, either men or women, but preferably I love the women's game. So I would love to do all women's international games,
mm.
be the main host, and cricket infield presenter. Um, but yeah, I mean, I won't say no to any of the men's international games as well. Because at the end of the day, if you're given an opportunity to be an infield presenter, whether it's for the men or the women's game, you take it with both hands. So, yeah, I'm hoping either it's Super Sport or it's ACBC. I guess we just have to see what comes up next. But you will know in a couple of months, trust me.
Well, we hope that people with decision making powers are tuned into the show, and they definitely tuned in to find out exactly what they can expect from you going forward. And we hope that those decision makers are watching the show so that they can call your phone. If you do need the contact details, you can contact me. I will forward it to your decision makers so that you can book it for your next production. Lesego, good luck for everything in the future. We wish you all the best from myself and the rest of the team at the back. And for this weekend as well, awards coming up. Good luck, enjoy it, and we will
Thank
be
you.
looking forward to seeing you on our screens pretty soon.
Awesome. And also you must tell the audience to be on the Lions YouTube stream because that's where I'll be coming to you live. So they can check me out there tomorrow night from 5:30. I'll be on the red carpet.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, she will be on the red carpet tomorrow evening. You heard it from her first. So make sure that you do tune in to the Lions Cricket Awards and see who will be taking away some of those awards of the season. Well, that's all we have time for this evening, Lesego. Till we chat again. Thanks so much. It was a
Thank you.
pleasure. It looked like she just got cut off of there at the end, but that was Lesego Pooe giving us a bit of a understanding of what it takes to be a world-class international broadcaster. We thank her so much for tuning in and giving us a bit of insight on what it takes to be a broadcaster. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we do come back, we're going to be chatting to International Cricket Council umpire Alauddin Palika. That's going to tell us a bit about his journey in umpiring and cricket as a whole. So stay tuned. When we come back, we're chatting all things cricket.